Life is filled with unique experiences that are shaped and blended by race, ethnicity, and culture. This thing called life aims to create a space where we can share our experiences, learn, grow, heal, and empower change. Our logo was created by Marianna Luis. Thank you, Marianne. And the music you hear at the beginning and end is by Coma Media from pixbay.com. Feel free to do a little dance. Okay, here we go. Episode number 5. I said I was going to try to do this once a week, so I'm doing it. Gonna post this episode on Friday. I'm ready. I got my tea. I did some yoga this morning. That was fantastic, and I did it yesterday. It needed to start doing something physical. I think I said in the last podcast, I hurt myself cleaning. So when that happens, that is my sign or signal to, you gotta be doing something physical to make sure I and we're taking care of our bodies. Oh, and I started doing something else, which was been really beneficial. Doing this, like, breaking. So when I don't have work, when I'm not at work, I have these this little post-it note that says mind, body, spirit, or like mind/work, body, and spirit/play, like where I can just kind of like play around and have fun. And I make sure on the days that I don't have work that I'm doing a little bit in each area, making sure I'm taking care of the mind, body, and spirit. And I've been doing it. And it feels good to kind of do a little bit of everything each and every day. And the other day, I was talking with a friend of mine, Mendy. Him and I, every time we go chat, and we'll go have like for coffee or go for breakfast, and every time we get together, it's just a wonderful conversation. We the both of us are vulnerable, and we kind of talk about how we're doing. We talk about the things that we want to accomplish. We talk about different philosophies, different ways of viewing life, and it's always just a lot of fun. And I just love having conversations with him. It benefits me. I feel like, and hopefully it benefits him, and it's just like something special. And it's I'm hoping to have him on this podcast hopefully in a week or two. He said he would be interested in doing it. And so when we were chatting, he had mentioned that he had just done ayahuasca, and then I think he also had done like the psilocybin or like microdosing or something like that. I'm not quite sure exactly, but I know he had just tried ayahuasca, and he was sharing his experience and what it was like, and how things have changed. And what I really liked is he sort of noticed that it's one thing to kind of do these different modalities of treatment and healing, but there is this aspect of taking action too that's important. So one of the things that he brought up was eating right, eating better, cutting out dairy, not drinking caffeinated or not drinking coffee, just drinking tea, and trying to be more loving in his relationships. And it was wonderful. And we started talking about ayahuasca in general. I started talking about hypnotherapy, because that's something that I've been doing on myself and doing with friends and family. And as we started talking, we were sort of talking about the pros and cons and how to approach it. And what came up for me was, well, first of all, is what I really love about there's this sort of interest, this exploration or evolving in within sort of healing mental health, and taking considerations into psychedelics like microdosing. I know Johns Hopkins here in Baltimore has a center where they do microdosing, and a lot of it is with depression, PTSD, and I think they also do it for substance use. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's what they're doing, or one of the areas they're doing it in. And I love that. There's this curiosity, or how we can sort of change how we view healing. What does it look like? What does it sound like? And being open-minded in the process, and that's something that I really love and appreciate. And something we had talked about is that it's I also love, and I think he sort of expressed this as well, that there's all these different areas or modalities or approaches to treatment and to healing. There's there's like psychiatry, there's psychotherapist and counseling, there's group therapy, there's 12-step programs, there's guided meditations, there's like more mindfulness, or like a mindfulness based approaches. There's like the ayahuasca, the psychedelic or a microdosing. There's like hypnotherapy. There's all these other, there's like energy work. There's like emotional freedom technique. There's all sorts of things out there, and I'm just like really glad that they're there. I feel like each one of those sort of can meet everyone where they're at, how they view healing and how they view the world. And I'm just like, I love and like grateful that they all exist and they're out there. I know that access to some of these things, that it's inequitable, and there's the access does not look the same for everyone because of as I chatted in the last episode, white supremacy culture and privilege and oppression, and it doesn't look the same. And I know it doesn't look the same also in like really rural areas of like West Virginia, and there's other parts in the U.S. where there's like like one physician or psychiatrist or counselor per I don't know, like 10,000 people or whatever it is. I'm sort of making that up, but it's the ratio is limited. The ratio is not the same as in something like Baltimore in the city, and I feel like the COVID and having things online and virtually can help with that, hopefully. But the other thing that came up as we have these different areas of therapy and treatment and healing, I was sort of thinking about like ayahuasca and microdosing and macrodosing, and again, I'm really glad that's there's sort of this shift or change in healing, but it's sort of also something came to my mind, and it's something that I chatted about a little bit in the last episode, and it's this tendency that we have to attach external experiences with internal ones. And I think I gave an example about sort of when people feel that a person, place, or thing made them feel angry, mad, or upset. what that does, or how I view my perspectives of that sort of hands control over to those external experiences of people, places, and things, hands over control to them or it, and can control us, and we're sort of handing our power over to them. And it can also happen in a more from a more positive framework. So, a lot of times we will also say, like, that person makes me feel happy, or that person makes me feel excited or worthy. And I don't doubt that that's happening. That makes sense and it's understandable. But again, I feel like we are handing over control to those people, places, and things, and handing over control to them, saying, you have control over my emotional experiences. When in reality, we are the ones that are in control, and we can own up to our take ownership of our feelings, whether they're good or bad. I know sort of this is in a similar sense or a similar light. I know Wayne Dyer has this quote, and it says that, and I think it is, if you squeeze an orange, apple juice isn't going to come out. Purely water is not going to come out. Grape juice isn't going to come out. It's orange juice is going to come out. And it's the same thing when people can get angry or upset, and like, oh, that person, made me upset or angry. And it's, well, that anger was already there. Sometimes when we get stressed or feel pressure, whatever we're holding within us, inside us, sort of comes out. And so a lot of times we can, again, say, like, oh, that person made me upset, that person pissed me off, that person made me angry, when really that all that anger and irritability, that was already there to begin with. Right. And I think that's knowing that we can kind of, again, take control and take control of our lives and our experiences. But to connect this to, like, ayahuasca, the only thing that sort of comes to mind that would, that hope when people are sort of, curious about this, is just to sort of be mindful about, what we're doing and why we're doing it. Why do we want to do this, like ayahuasca or psychedelic treatment? Are there any expectations? What are they? Am I ready? I think that is like another one, especially with ayahuasca, because I think we can, again, attach ourselves to, our internal experiences with these external things. So, if ayahuasca, that made me have this profound experience, right? And a lot of times what we want is more, right? We want more money, more things, more experiences. And sometimes I feel like we can kind of, if we do that, we can kind of want to do that more and more and more and more. I'm not saying that's the case all the time, but I know that can happen. So the only thing I can sort of offer is just, being mindful of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And I think the same thing goes with me, not as much, I guess, with microdosing, because my understanding it's not as intense. I know I've done, I guess, macro dosing, but it wasn't for the purposes of healing and treatment. This was back when I was in high school, and I think I did LSD in college. So, I know I did. And I had a fantastic experience. I think when I was doing shrooms with some friends in high school, we went to go see a movie, and it must have been like a premiere or something, because like that theater was packed. Like the only seats available were in the front row, partially because, well, we were taking shrooms and smoking weed, so we were late. And we had a friend that was sort of like our chaperone, to make sure, none of us did anything stupid. And we go into this movie theater. It's like everyone's in their seats, like the previews are about to start, and like we're coming in there like giggling like little schoolboys, and it is most likely very apparent that we are not sober, and we sit down in the front row, and we're just like staring up at this giant screen, and so they start the previews, and like these previews are not like anything, like they weren't previewing like just like all comedy movies or things, just like standard previews, right? But we as a group just died laughing at this preview for like no reason, right? It could have been a movie about like war, and we were just dying laughing. And I bet my friend was like, y'all need to like chill out because y'all are embarrassing. And we're like, we don't really care. But I've had those experiences. I've never had any experience micro dosing, but definitely macro dosing. It just wasn't in the therapeutic sense. So yeah, I mean, all around, like I appreciate and I love that there's like these different modalities and different areas of treatment. The only thing that I guess I'm would hope is that we can be mindful, asking ourselves questions and be honest with the answers of like, why do we want to do this? What are my expectations? Why do I have those expectations? And am I ready? And that question, I guess, is more so with ayahuasca, like I had said before. And I guess the reason, and I've never done it before, so take this with a grain of salt, but what I feel like is that when we're doing something that is as intense as I would imagine macro dosing or ayahuasca is it can, I believe it would like show us certain things that maybe we're not ready to see, and that's why it's important to kind of try, as we're searching for different modalities or different approaches to healing, make sure we're doing other things to heal. Make sure we are seeking treatment from psychiatrists, therapists. We're doing group therapy or any or sort of support groups. I love support groups. I think those support groups can be like a powerful experience. So I think it's important to kind of making sure that we're doing, not just one thing, but kind of tapping into a lot of different areas. Because yeah, I think that for doing something like ayahuasca, we're kind of shown something that could be intense, and we're going to be shown whatever that is, whether we're ready or not. It sort of like opens the floodgates, and it's just like things are gonna be there, right? And maybe I'm wrong, right? I've never done ayahuasca, but maybe I'm completely off base. But that's just sort of my perspective. So that's it. That's the only thing I kind of wanted to bring up and chat about. I'm hoping to start interviewing some people and chatting with other people, and not just me being the one talking, because I can just have fun talking, but I'm hoping we can hear from some other people. And I think the first person I might chat with is my friend Mendy, and hopefully go from there. I've got a couple other friends in mind that I hope to chat with, but that's it. I know we've got some holidays coming up, or I think I'm going to end up posting this after the Thanksgiving break. But I hope everyone is able to stay safe, be safe. I'm hoping everyone can, ask challenging questions with friends and family. Not only during Thanksgiving but during the holiday break as well. But I'm hoping that you can kind of overall just enjoy spending time. I think there's a lot of importance of just sort of being present with another person and, not saying anything in particular, but just kind of being there. I think that's a big deal. Showing up. That's what I tell the people that I work with at the hospital. And what my brother-in-law has said before, like 90% of life is just showing up. And so when they show up for groups, I'm like, y'all came here, appreciate you showing up, because it's a big deal when we can just like show up to things and show up for people. Thanks for showing up for me right now, and listening and viewing on YouTube. You can subscribe on Spotify. I think you can on YouTube. Those are the two platforms I'm gonna put these podcasts out on. If you have any questions, comments, if you wanna chat with me, even like not recording, if you just kind of want to reach out and chat, that's sort of an aspect or a part of why I want to do this. I want to kind of connect with people and listen to other people. So if you just want to like reach out and chat, please feel free to put it in the comments, or you can go to this thing called life.center. That's where my email is, and the email is this thing called life7@gmail.com. But again, thanks for being present with me and for showing up. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. If you would like to reach out, you can email me at this thing called life7@gmail.com. You can visit our website at this thing called life.center. And of course, feel free to like, share, and subscribe.